Phenomenal.
You can get it in a hole or up a pole. You can get it doing nothing at all. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer. And the best cold beer is Vic. A long, cold Vic.
It's so hard to have a gay time on your own.
It could be that great chalk and biscuit coating.
So hard to have a gay time on your own.
It could be.
I'm Danny, and I'm here to call out all you crack pack bitches. You think I don't see you there? I'm the OG of this shit. But you come after the king, you better come correct. I'm Danny, motherfucker. Who are you, crack pack? You smoke crack. You better watch your back.
I am a maverick. I am a savage. I am a legend. I am a madman. You never know what I'm going to do next. I am a mad lad.
Hello, welcome to the show, all you bogans and friends and mad lads and mad whams out there. I see a couple of whams in the chat. Great to see you. Great to have you. We might have some new people in the chat tonight because we've got Sven, I'm going to say Sturfels. I just like because it sounds cool. On tonight, hopefully he'll be jumping in a few minutes. I did see him here earlier in the chat, but it's like 4 a.m. for him where he is. I think he's in the Netherlands. I hope he doesn't pass out because that would be awkward. But welcome, everybody. Welcome. We are live simulcast on YouTube and Rumble. Let me refresh Rumble, see if anyone's watching there. Yes, Keen Scene's over there. Great to have you, Keen Scene. We've got one over there. Amazing. All right. While we wait for our guest of honor to arrive, Cock Launch says, I hope Sven is sloshed. That's all our dream. That is our dream. Is that the sort of thing he might do at 4 a.m. in the morning? I don't know, but we'll find out. But before we bring Sven on, let's do what we always do. Stand on tradition and say hello to those in the chat, especially those who came first. And if you look here, Felix Huss, the Link Master, pipped out Jeremy Burts by mere milliseconds. So I think that's 2 in a row. Well done, Felix. You get the 2. You'll be looking down on us from above. Oh, I see. My guest is present. All right, let me very quickly run through and say hello to who we got in the chat here, and then we'll bring Sven on and we'll get the party started. We have, there he is right there. He says Beast. Chris, yeah, new names in the chat. Love seeing it. Chris Koss. He says, Sven is my favorite animator. Yeah, I've checked out some of his stuff. It's pretty hilarious. Awesome ones here. Quiet Red Media. Louis Fillets here. Skip Edwards. I see D-Wag. Raiden Radio. I love this name. Cock Launch. Woo! Fantastic. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Mo Biggs. How Mo Biggs. Athaline is here. AGE Comics. Creators Outlet. Who else do I spy? We got 30 seconds left to say hello to some people here. Finney's here. Reagan Lodge. Always love having our chat blessed by the presence of Reagan. He says, Sven, what an excellent choice for a guest. I can't claim credit. Sven was recommended to me by a mutual friend. You may know her as Sheila Aliens. We do the Camel Night show together. She said, Bancroft, you got to get Sven on. And I said, okay. And here we are. Mr. Monkey Boy's here. I think I said Jeremy Burts already, but I'll say it again because it's Jeremy Burts. Why not? Who else? Your Liz friend. Welcome to the chat. Great to have you here. She says this cool. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you approve. Eric, no, I'm not Danny, but I am going to have to move on with the show. Apologies to anyone that I missed, but I'll just say hello to Paul Sartre as well, and Oliver, and I think that yep, no, that's it. Okay, all right, calm down. Thank you everyone for joining us here. Please do give the stream a like, share it out on your socials, and all that good stuff. All right, Sven looks like he's ready. He's a cool guy. Let's bring him on. Sven.
Hi there, Michael.
Good sir. That's a
Can you hear
British.
me?
That's a British
Salute.
Salute. Is that what you
At
do?
your
Are you in the
service.
Netherlands?
I am the Netherlands. It's 4 a.m. right now, so I've just stayed up for this. I've just been lollygagging.
I hope it's worth your while. Wow, another lollygagger. I like that name. I like that word.
I finished. I'm kind of wired. I got to tell you, I finished this giant pint of coffee just to stay up.
So you're
you know what I'm saying?
You're buzzing right now.
I'm a little bit wired. Yeah, I told you before. For the people that don't know me, English is not my first language. I asked you if it was okay to swear. Usually, I tend to swear a little bit to give myself a second to translate, but I'll try to.
No, that's okay. Look, we'll give you a swear pass. That's perfectly fine.
Awesome.
Hi,
everybody. Well, it's nice to meet you, and it's nice to meet everybody in the chat.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too. I was just saying, Sheila Aliens put me on to you. She's a fan, and maybe
She's
a
great.
friend. I'm not sure. And I checked out your stuff, and I thought that you're an animator. I've done a little bit of animation myself, not quite to your level, but dabbled a little bit. You're making it. You've made a comic. I also am making a comic. I actually used to have my comic up online as well. I was on Webtoons. I didn't have my own site for very long. But you've got your comic book. It's called Butch Killigan. We can go through all this stuff.
Awesome. Let's talk about it.
This is like a meet and greet stream, which I don't do often enough. But I'm happy to do it because
I gotta admit, I really don't know what I'm doing with the whole comic book yet. Right now, everything's for free on the website butchgilligan.com. I don't know if you can pull some stuff up for people to see. You know, it's better.
Absolutely,
it's a visual.
I've got it all
visual medium
lined up.
Perfect.
You better believe it.
Sick, bro.
Where is it?
I'll check the chat. I'll keep an eye on the chat as well for you. Okay, so you don't have to do everything.
I see some of these people are probably your friends, like your
of course. We got Liz. Hi, Liz. Evelyn. Oh my God. Reagan Lodge in the house. Shout outs. Great guy. Love that guy.
How about Cock Launch? Is he one of yours?
Cock Launch. Yes, that's another one of my guys. I apologize.
Thank you for bringing the coolest people to my yard.
Perfect.
I'll bring up your Sven. Is it Stoffels? Is that how you pronounce it?
Stoffels, yes. You said Stiffles earlier, right?
That because I like to do that when a name looks unusual to me. I like to give a little bit of something. So
you can say weird. I won't get offended. Don't worry about it.
Your website's giving me a seizure, but that's okay. We'll push through.
Come on,
this little guy here.
Aesthetics.
Sheila was telling me that you do like a member thing. So you do live streams on your YouTube, but then you put them behind a member gate.
True. I used to be on Patreon, but I got thrown off of Patreon because of one of the cartoon. Yeah, isn't that surprising? A cartoon that I made that didn't really a certain subset of our population called the Chinese wasn't really happy with that one. But maybe we can get into that one. China.
What did you do?
Yes.
What did you?
We're going to get into that. Are we really going to get into that one? Let's get into that one later. That's my cancellation. That's a whole epic saga, man.
Liz says it's a very cool website. Yeah.
But you should go to Butch Gilligan. ButchGilligan.com is the one that has the comic on it. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, nice.
How long have you been? Because I guess this is a Comicsgate channel.
Of course.
So we talk mostly about comics over here. How long have you been doing this this comic here? Looks like you got a lot of chapters.
I mean, I got a bunch of chapters there. I try to push out as many chapters as I can. But I've only been doing it for a year now. And yes, for a year. And if you scroll down a little bit further, so people can read the whole prologue chapter. It's over 100 pages, might be close to 200 pages at this point. The whole prologue thing. And if you're too lazy to read, you can check these out. These are the I hired actors and everything, and I edited together like fully animated motion comics as well. It's 4 episodes for your viewing pleasure. And
I checked out a couple of them. They look pretty cool. I was like, that's the whole thing that stopped me from doing. I've done some motion comic stuff, but I never took it that seriously because I was like, I'm going to need to get actors, and I don't have time for that.
Listen, trust me, I know the trouble with getting voice actors, especially ones that are on time and that stick to a schedule. It's a nightmare. But the guys that I found to work on Butch Killing have been perfect so far.
Let me actually, I've got one lined up here.
Okay,
but
cool.
Of course,
that's chapter 1.
I've got to share the audio because StreamYards won't let you swap between screens if you've got audio. It's dumb.
Oh,
but let's have a look here. See what you've come up with.
Hell yeah.
203, a robbery in progress. 304, someone's home being burglarized. 366, a violent crime's committed.
I like that accent.
504, an alleyway rape. And yeah, it don't stop. Another 187 on an undercover cop. These codes ain't just numbers on a radio beam. They're cries for help.
Attention all District 7 units. We have a 969 at Ultra City, port 283.70. Responders needed on the scene ASAP.
Copy that. This is Scorpio Zero. We're on the case.
Dios mío! You made me spill everywhere.
These are troubled times, Pancho.
And you're driving way past the speed limit, FYI.
The city's changing at dizzying speeds. But I'm not going to let it get away from me.
Great. Flash the lights and play the siren then.
We'll play about a minute of it because then the chat will start riding it by playing any more. But if you like the look of that, go check them out. Sven has a bunch of these on his YouTube channel.
4 episodes right now.
4 episodes. That was the first one.
That was the first one. It's only 2 minutes. There's some longer ones in there too. I think the third one is like 8 minutes. Well, actually, the Butch Gilligan ones, the Butch Gilligan animatics, I have on a separate YouTube channel. It's called
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Just go to the website. You'll find everything Butch Gilligan related to the website. And I would like to urge people to, if you scroll up a little bit, to have them fill in that mailing list. You know what I'm saying? Right, that one. Yeah. That would be perfect.
It's telling me to put mine in. All right, I'll do that.
Nah, come on, look at that. Perfect. Listen, I need about 100 people to sign up.
Am I a robot? I guess I'm not.
Come on, perfect.
There we go.
We won't spam you. This is just for Butch Gilligan related stuff.
How did you get into making comics?
Well, as an animator, it's basically I had this story that I wanted to get out there. You know what I'm saying? And just as an animator, you start off with the storyboarding aspect, and you can do that rather quickly. But then you got to go into the whole process of animating everything, the keyframes, the layouts, the coloring, and it takes ages and ages and ages and ages. So to me, going from animation to comics, it sort of felt like, how a boxer when they train with weights. And then when they go and do the actual match, they take off the weights and they feel free. That's what it felt like to me to get into comics.
We actually have another animator who, he's just pumping out comics left, right, and center. He's so used to, he does animation and he does storyboarding.
Yeah, so that's what I did too.
Well, there you go. Working under a timeline. Under a deadline.
I did 8 animated shorts for Comedy Central at one point. This is like years and years ago, but I was under such strict deadline. If you try, and I did the entire process from everything, you know what I'm saying, from the storyboarding phase to the last coloring phase. So yeah, I'm used to very tight deadlines and pumping up. But who's that guy that we were just mentioning?
Jose Garcia. So he's done work for Netflix. He's done work for a bunch of movie studios and stuff like that. I think right now he's storyboarding for Netflix. Meanwhile, on the side, he's doing 3 or 4 comics, drawing, coloring. I mean, he's a freak. He's an absolute freak of nature. But he's got this, and it's really weird because he's actually got quite a detailed style. I don't know how he does it. It seems so. It seems unattainable to me, but Paulus Arts calls him out. Jose is fucking phenomenal.
Shout outs.
Look at
shout
all
outs.
these new people in the chat here. Eve Ellen says Sven is a free man of Netherworld.
That's what they
Sounds
call
like
my country. It's very offensive stuff. The Netherlands,
Is it?
the Netherlands.
Is that racist?
No,
We've got
who gives
people
a shit?
watching us over on Rumble right now, including Citizen Ronan and Get Over It. Someone
guys.
says, who says it here? That you should have. Citizen Ronan says, shouldn't a guy named Sven have a battle axe or something? It
Do
definitely
I have
sounds
something like that around? No,
no,
sorry.
don't want to
guys. I
have him
got
holding that
disappointed.
battle axe.
I got rid of
when
all my
he's just sort of
props.
Drunken 2 pints of coffee. Mo Big says Jose is crack Kirby. I want to share you guys something that I found on Sven's YouTube channel, which is a cartoon that I've seen before.
Oh boy.
I think a lot of people probably have seen it. It's very
Uh-oh.
cool. It's very funny.
Which one is
a
it?
little bit political, maybe. I don't know. I find it's actually funny because you did the same thing that I did, which is you take some funny audio and then you animate it. And
Yeah,
you
some of
went
this stuff.
a hell of a lot
I know which
more
one you're talking
viral
about.
than I did, but I want to share it because you guys have probably seen it. Where is share screen? Here
Yeah,
we
this
go.
one went. You're talking about the Biden one, right?
Yeah. This
Some of
is
this stuff the
amazing.
guy says just begs to be animated. You know.
I know,
so,
right? Yeah. We have some funny clips that we take from live streams, and I would do so much more of this, but I just don't have time anymore. I'm not as proficient as you other guys with your animations. But let me play this. This is great.
And by the way, you know, I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Yeah. Well, so
why wouldn't it?
So that one went viral, but of course they cropped the video, cut out my watermark. Joe Rogan shared this. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Joe Rogan uploaded his own version of it, and it had that one got like 15 million views, and then Dave Rubin retweeted that one, and then even Donald Trump Jr. tweeted this fucking video out there. Excuse my French, but
without
yeah,
without
my so I got nothing out of that. Jack shit.
That is because I remember seeing that at the time. Everyone was sharing it. Obviously, I wasn't looking at it. You don't think, and justice for Sven. Holy, that's not right. That ain't right.
Yeah, well, I got my comeuppance. Maybe we should look. I don't know if it might be too controversial. I don't even know if you can show that one. My other cartoon, you can only find it on BitChute, by the way. It's called Corona Ching Chang. It was my take on the Corona Chang.
We could play that on Rumble, but I don't.
Yeah, let's not do it
because we're simulcast on YouTube. I don't think.
Let's not even do it. If you want to watch that one, go look it up on BitChute. My channel, Sven Stoffels, on BitChute is the only site that allows that one. I did a whole episode about it on my website, SvenStoffels.com. If you type in Corona cartoon or something, I explained this whole cancellation debacle that happened because I got like the Chinese Communist Party after me. They got rid of all my channels and shit. They contacted all my family, previous employees, old teachers of mine were harassed for months and months and months. So yeah, it was a whole to-do just because I made a little silly cartoon.
The Chinese don't F around. They're like,
no, they don't.
They're hardcore. Did you see that video where they ousted the old Chinese leader right in front of everyone, and they just made him like,
oh yeah, he got
out of the, everyone was looking straight ahead,
sequestered to some kind of gulag.
Yeah, never to be seen again. That's crazy, but I do believe it. I do believe it. We've got a super chat here from Zaid Studios. He says, "Bow, chat, bow, chat, bow." That's what we say here. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's
bow, bow, bow.
We got a pack here of rabid comic book fans and backers. They call themselves the Crack Pack. And,
awesome.
They back books. And Zaid says, Beckoned Recourse launches here on this channel. That's true. On the 12th of November, sign up and get ready. Hopefully someone's put in a link there to Jeremy's book there to get the sign up. And also I put the link in to your link tree there, Sven.
Perfect.
People want to go and see these naughtier cartoons that we unfortunately
I didn't even think I put that one in my link tree. That's how bad it is. But yes, go check that one out.
We do. Thank you again, Jeremy, for the super chat. We do a show actually with Sheila and 2 others, and it's called Camel Nights, and we cover a lot of this stuff. We talk about it, we joke about it, we kind of do serious conversations, then we laugh at TikTok and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we aren't. There's certain things we're not even allowed to mention, because if we do, it's like stream down and then channel strike. So we've had to come up
what
with
the things are, but I don't know. Yeah.
Well, we've come up with code words for them. So if we're talking about them, we say, instead of saying something that you might inject in yourself to protect yourself from a virus, we call them puppies. So everyone's out there getting new puppies. And then, if there's like
that's a pretty big barrier of entry for a new guy to get into your thing. I would have no clue.
It really is, but it just got to the point where YouTube will not. I mean, it's beyond a joke. That's why I'm actually now I simulcast on Rumble. It's just getting started. I've only got 300 subscribers over there, but the people over there who watch it on Rumble are pretty passionate about alt tech and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
the way we are doing it right now, we're developing a whole new website, and what I do is I still use like YouTube and stuff to stream because I got a bunch of subscribers on my channel. So I urge people to go to my website, svenstoffels.com/live whenever we're live, or svenstreams.com. We're going live, by the way, on Sunday, 1 p.m. EST usually. And what we do is I stream live. The embed is on the website with the chat, and then the second I'm done streaming, everything gets deleted off of YouTube, so there's no trace of all the filth, and then it gets uploaded, and people can watch it on the.
Get rid of the evidence.
That's the way to do it. Just remove all your evidence, and then you can still use these platforms often, unless you're being live audited, which has happened a bunch of times, and I've lost channels without even getting flagged or without any warning, just boom, gone. Without any strikes.
We have seen people get taken down live, usually for nudity and stuff like that, or like proper nudity, or like extreme violence, like bum fights and stuff like that.
You know why I got taken? My one channel I lost on the fly like that, poof, gone. It was because I was doing a live animation of Joe Rogan filleting himself, which you can still find on my website.
I reckon that's on BitChute now, is it?
No, that's not ambitious. That's on my website. So I don't know. I don't even know if that one's out there.
And do you have to become a member on your website to see this stuff, or it's just?
Oh, there's half the stuff is free, and then some stuff I put. The more egregious stuff is behind the members wall, and you have to become a member. It's only $5.
$5 a month.
$5 a month.
There you go. Yeah, I know Salty does that to get people to his Rumble and Odyssey and everything. He will do the first hour on YouTube just to get the notifications out to the most people, because obviously there's still the most people on YouTube. That's just the way it's going to be for a long time yet, probably. But Liz looks like she liked it, died that day. Is Sheila Aliens even here now? I don't think she is. And she was at. Oh, no, there she is. There she is.
She was Sheila. Up earlier. Oh, there she is. Shout out, Sheila. There she is.
She's here, Sheila. She's been asking about this show for weeks now.
I made it.
It's happening.
I finally made it.
What do you know about Comicsgate?
Yeah. Okay. So I gotta admit, I'm not completely up to date on all the ins and outs and the dramas and all that stuff regarding Comicsgate. And it's not necessarily Comicsgate's fault. I tend to I'm very bad at networking and stuff like that. I tend to stay in my own lane and my own little island. And today, I'm trying to kind of break through it because I need some advice too. Maybe we can talk about that later too. But when it comes to, as I understand it, Comicsgate is basically opposed to the ideological takeover of the industry, and I, of course, 100% am aligned with that idea. You know what I'm saying? I think it's not just bad for the comic books industry, but the ideological takeover is bad for art itself, I think. You know what I'm saying? Because it's inherently. Totally. Yeah, what these people are doing is it's not because I don't see there's a deeper analysis we could get into in regards to this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of people are
funny. I just did a video this morning covering a recent tweet from Ethan. You know Ethan Van Sciver?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah,
I know him.
He
follows Butch
tweeted
Gilligan, by the way. Never
Does
retweeted
he?
anything. Yes, he's never retweeted anything though. Tell him about that next time.
Let me stop this. Let me stop this screen. I'll present this. I thought this was a great breakdown, so I did a quick video on it this morning, and it really does sort of reiterate a lot of what we're into and what we actually stand for versus the misconception. So people will say,
"All right,
well, Comicsgate says no politics in comics." That's not true. It's like, do we have to have the extreme left, like pamphleteering and the social engineering?
Yes. So there's a difference. I think yes. So you can't. I think it's almost impossible. What is politics? Politics. It talks about the power structures regarding how we organize our society. How can you filter that out of art? That's impossible in a way. What's clearly happening with these people is it's an ideological takeover, and they're trying to propagandize a whole medium to further their own specific political agenda. It's without any debate or honest debate, and that's where people tend to always get. They notice this stuff when the Mary Sue and the Gary Stu characters get propagated, like these characters, like what is a common one, a modern one, like that Rey from Star Wars, right? So she's perfect because she is representing. She's not a character. She is an idol that represents an avatar that represents a specific ideology. In that sense, it's like modern day feminism or whatever. So she cannot have any flaws, and therefore it ceases to be art, an artistic pursuit, because within the artistic pursuit, the debate is baked in. You know what I'm saying? Like art is the process. It's not even the end product. People often mistake this, right? So people mistake the end product with art, whereas art is defined by the process, and that is a debate on the micro level and the macro level. Every pen stroke, every decision being made. That is what art is, because people think, oh, that's not art. They tend to look at it aesthetic. They look at the end product aesthetically,
the final object.
But what you're doing then is you're reducing art to decoration. That's not what it is. So the art is in the process that leads up to the ending, and that requires a debate. And you can define it by what it's not, and that is propaganda. Propaganda isn't art because you start with preconceived notions. So in the same way that that is what makes propaganda. So in the same way that Rey is a representation of a certain ideology, Ronald McDonald, for instance, he's there to sell hamburgers. You'll never see Ronald McDonald having a heart attack or be morbidly obese, because that's not the point. You know, he is selling you something. So that is what these characters are doing. They're selling you, or they're propagandizing and socially engineering certain specific ideas. And that is why they'll never steel man the opposite sides. There's never a real debate between these things. The villains are always cartoonish versions of their political oppositions. And that means it's not just the death of the comic book industry, but the death of art. Once art becomes propaganda, that's where it ceases to be art. That's what I think.
That's pretty much what. Hey, yeah, that's pretty much what we've been trying to do, essentially, trying to argue in Comicsgate for a long time now. I don't need to get into the variance argument here, but also they say DG is against diversity in comics, which was the whole shtick. And Ethan was just saying, well, no, actually, it's more this forced diversity where they cram in.
Okay, so this is an interesting point, because so the critique they're giving you here against diversity, they're talking about racial diversity, of course, but the funny part is that Comicsgate would actually be pro actual diversity of two opposing sides battling things out. And the race then, in that sense, is arbitrary. And of course, there's so many layers to that thing, because they're just shoehorning in certain, like with the recent Lord of the Rings stuff. It's clearly based on this old European folklore, and they're putting like black transsexuals in there. It just doesn't make any sense, right? It's just all
and on top of that, it's it's also like I consider what they do a lot of the time actually more in line with what you would consider traditional racism, because say we've got a guy like Eric July who, you know, raised all this money on his own comic. He is like a traitor in their mind, because in their mind, because he's black, he should be on their side. So they want no diversity of
he escaped the plantation. He escaped
exactly. We're saying no, everyone, like there should be diversity of people and thought, and people with, like, you shouldn't be linking ideologies to races and all that sort of stuff. So it was that. And then the last comment was, I mean, it's pretty much the same argument, but they say CG wants women out of comics, which can't possibly be true because Sheila Aliens is in the chat right here.
Of course. There's an interesting. Are you familiar with Jonathan Pajot, that guy? He's done things with Jordan Peterson.
Yes, yes, he's got a.
He's like a carver or something.
On everything.
Yes, so he has done a very great video about like the feminization of like pop culture stuff, and it's under this guise of female empowerment. And he does it. He of course does a way better job with this. Look up his channel, Jonathan Pajot. But he talks about it's not actually female empowerment; it's an inversion of the female role. They're basically just projecting a female form onto a man, right? So a female doing a backflip on a motorcycle, pulling out two Uzis, murdering a crowd of zombies. It's not really femininity just now because the character has a pair of tits. You know what I'm saying? It's still a male power fantasy. So it has nothing to do with female empowerment in essence. It's an inversion of that idea.
I mean, it sounds like we're on the same page with everything that's been going on in entertainment. And,
I think so, yeah.
And what the answer to that is did that come into play at all when you decided you wanted to make a comic, or are you just like, no, I've got an idea and
no,
because you got you got a manly man here. I've been noticing manly men coming out.
So I am interested actually in the concept of the medium becomes part of the message. Yes. So I'm playing actually with the idea of the male power fantasy style escapist fantasy thing. So you have this badass guy, Butch Gilligan. And one of the things that you never see with a Mary Sue or a Mary Stu character is that because they're so perfect, they're never being put in awkward situations. They don't have any flaws. Nothing ever goes really wrong. They can fix everything. If you go to Butch Gilligan's Twitter, you can see the latest pages. I release pages almost weekly on the Twitter account. So Butch Gilligan, it's a story about a guy that wakes up years into the future, in a dystopian future. So he wakes up from a coma, and the first thing that happens when he wakes up from the coma is there's an AI that needs to measure his vital signs, and a certain device comes out that's rather phallic shaped. You can see this on Twitter. So what I'm doing here is so you have this hyper masculine guy that wakes up in this super chaotic feminist, feminized female energy future, and those two energies are going to butt heads. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to be put in a lot of. Let's say his
a little bit like
is going to be challenged.
The premise of Demolition Man, if I recall.
Okay,
you know,
it's interesting that you mentioned that, because it is sort of like Demolition Man, but in the way that it's different is, and I talked about this a lot, is whereas in the 90s and stuff, a lot of dystopian future movies were being popularized, but oftentimes, and I know there's going to be some contrarians in the chat that go, oh, actually, Huxley wrote a book in 18. I know, I understand. I'm just saying in the broader Hollywood culture, there's been all these dystopian movies that came out, but the dystopian future is always this rigid, fascist, almost very rule-based, super hyper orderly societies wherein there's no freedom in that sense. But I think it's actually more likely that we're going to go into a future that's less orderly and more chaos. So my future is going to be sort of like a 24/7 Burning Man, transsexual gay parade style future, for lack of a better term.
A rainbow dystopia.
Yes, rainbow dystopia, and then you got this
I was just saying that to my
with
wife. I was saying that to my wife the other night. We were watching a movie set in the future. I'm like, do you ever notice that in the future everyone is very well dressed? They're well put together. They're quite formal. But if you look back at the trajectory of fashion, it goes from suits and all this stuff down to now everyone's wearing just like a t-shirt and shorts and no shoes.
Yes.
Like in the future, people will just be wearing a loincloth or something. It's like no
Well,
one cares anymore.
Yeah, yeah. And okay, this is a spoiler. They're gonna all be wearing tracksuits with these with the QR codes on it, and they're all wearing like little goggles that project their identities, their digital hyper reality projections onto itself. So for them, there's dragons walking around, but in reality, everything's crumbling and rotting and just decaying. Anyways, I wanted to say something because now.
They just shut it out because they can.
Yeah, it's pure escapism. But in that same sense that a comic book can be escapism. But I do want to say this because somebody might go, okay, so you're just mocking transsexual. No. It is an honest debate between hypermasculinity, escapism, and then we're going to see what happens in this world. You know what I'm saying? These two energies butting heads in this world. We'll see what happens. It's not. So I'm not making a propaganda piece necessarily. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing around with these themes. I just wanted to get that.
That's funny. That's exactly what we were just talking. How it's not like you can't have a message or a philosophy in your story. It has to be woven into the story. You can't just like, hey, I'm going to cram my ideology onto someone's face, but I'm going to sell it to them like it's just a fun adventure story, and then as soon as you open it, you realize,
so therefore I'm not going to put any buzzwords of like SJW or stuff like that in there. There's not going to be any Pepe memes. You know what I'm saying? Ideally, this story can be read years down the line and
Biden's
still
hairy
apply.
legs aren't going to feature in it.
No, it's more universal, let's say, in that sense.
Well, Liz says it's genuinely good. Now you're uploading it for free onto your website. Do you ever have any future plans of maybe printing it or crowdfunding or anything like that?
I would love to do that, but I'm dumb. Like, I am an artist. I have like a tunnel vision in that regard. I'm a retarded. Can you say that on YouTube? In regards to like, I'm not a good merchant.
That's still a word.
Yeah, it's just a word. I'm not really that savvy with that stuff. And that is one of the reasons that I think it's interesting to talk to you and to guys like the guys in the chat and stuff, Comicsgate guys. And I'd like to increasingly talk to more of you guys too about this type of stuff. Like, what would be the best method to get this out there? Because I do want to get it printed, of course, obviously, but you know, I'm in Europe. How does the distribution work? I have no clue, you know. And I saw things about Indiegogo now shadow banning people. So how are you going to deal with that stuff? Like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Or ideally, I could just draw, and then eventually, when I have enough for a book, boom, put it out there, you know.
It sounds like that's a little bit how I sort of first started to approach making comics as well. Because when I started in 2015, it was all like this. This is all I knew. Was okay, you want to make a comic, you make a website and you put it up on the website. And then if it's popular enough, you can crowdfund a printed version. But that was all like pie in the sky much later. I mean, I had no audience, zero. And so I started uploading it to Webtoons, and I did actually gather a pretty good audience. I think about like 20,000 followers or something like that. But when CG rolled around, and I was just like, I didn't realize that I was slowly drowning in the world of online webcomics, which is, I mean, really just a cesspool of all of the stuff we've just talked about, the whole SJW.
Quick side note: I've uploaded mine to Webtoons, and without really like digging into the content on Webtoons. But yes, if you go to the main page on Webtoons, it's all gay.
Yeah, but like that's their thing. Like I'm all for it. If that's what they want, if that's what they want to read, go for it.
Sure.
The problem is it's not really. It's a difficult way to find readers who might be interested in the kind of work that you're doing. That's the only issue with it. But so I was in the same boat, and CG comes around. I'm like, yes, finally, it's people who, you know, we get each other now. So I like the way I did it was I just started hanging out in chats and watching videos and leaving comments. I followed people on Twitter that was saying stuff that I agreed with and that sort of stuff. eventually you just kind of get to know people. Like I started this show. I mean, you've already got a show, so you're already, way ahead of a lot of other people. And eventually you just start.
My audience is more into like comedy, shit postery, pushing the buttons of culture, edgy stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're not even necessarily comics fans. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very valuable for me to actually talk to proper comic book fans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the hard thing. Like you've actually it's a lot easier to get an audience not talking about comics. Ask anyone who does, like, I've been doing this YouTube channel for 3 years now, grinding at it every day. And no, I mean, mostly about comics. Occasionally I'll do videos on, a TV show or a movie or something like that. But it's mostly about comics. And this is talk about a niche subject. Like, there's not a huge audience of people out there, but there are enough people who are interested in it to make it worthwhile for a creator if they can convince enough people to support them. So I don't want to like scare you off or anything, but it's a hard road. So I mean, the process of jumping from where you are now to getting into the crowdfunding sphere is the first thing you need to do is get people interested in Butch Killigan. That's like the number one thing. How do you do that? That's the $1 million question. But I mean, what you're doing now is a great first step. Like now there's like 40 people on YouTube, and I think we've got like 10 on Rumble watching it. People were watching the replays.
Perfect.
And now they'll at least be aware of it going forward. And when they see it out there on Twitter or wherever, Instagram or on YouTube even, if they subscribe to Sven, the link is in the description there.
Go check it out, guys.
They'll have that in their mind, and that's like the first step. What you do after that, it's sort of like, I mean, you strike me as a guy who can, like, a carnival barker. Like, that's what you need to be, like someone who gets out there and is entertaining and a bit wild and everything. I mean, that's how you build audiences, and you've built a good audience on YouTube, even if they're not necessarily into comic books.
That's true. Listen, here's the thing though. Like, I am so much in love with this story that I'm telling. I would do it. I would finish this regardless. It's not even about making a lot of money about it or anything. But my dream would be to have this printed in a book physically and get it out there to people. That would rule. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make this comic regardless. This comic is going to be finished regardless of any support, regardless of if everybody hates it. But I'm fairly confident in it. I think once I can get it under people's noses, they'll get it. They'll understand that this is a unique thing that I'm doing here too.
So many people have put their head down and just kind of drawn away and worked away, and then they do emerge like a butterfly from their creative cocoon and said, look, I have a comic, but they're speaking to no one because they haven't spent any time promoting or building an audience or anything. The fact that you already have an audience, regardless of whether or not they're super into comic books, is a massive bonus. Not only because you at least have some people who are going to be there to want to support you, but also because it'll open up doors to other people, who have channels and promotional networks and stuff like that. But I like to hear what you're saying about how it's going to be happening no matter what. I've always been exactly the same. I would have been happy just continuing doing my comic on Webtoon to however many people were reading it for free, just to get the thing done. Because when you have a story you need to tell, nothing is going to really stop you.
I'm very confident that this is going to be the greatest thing ever, obviously. But probably most people will say that. I'm just going to say this is going to, regardless, is going to happen. And maybe later we can talk about, because my main issue is like distribution. Because I don't even have a vision about that yet. How am I going to do that?
You're asking monumentally large questions. I've got.
Yeah, I know. We don't even have to get into it right now. We'll do that on
I've
a
got a
different
buddy
chat.
who I stream with he's called Rob Arnold. His channel's called The Replicator. We stream every week where we get into the nuts and bolts of this. And yeah, it's like we've been streaming together now for over a year and a half, and usually, almost always, we have something new to talk about because it's never ending. The whole like how do we the logistics of making,
that's the thing.
printing, distributing, selling a comic.
There should be like a drop shipping thing for comics, integrated with a crowdfunding website. You get your thing crowdfunded, and then just gets printed on site and distributed. You know what I'm saying? There should be a thing about like that. And there is Amazon, but they take 60%, and it's not worth doing it, right?
Yeah,
60%.
Well, you should definitely well, sub to this channel. We talk about it.
I'm already
occasionally,
subbed.
this sort of stuff. Excellent. Sub to The Replicator. We talk about it all the time over there. We're pretty much one of the only channels that really are kind of dedicated to the business of crowdfunding. And you know, he's CG as well, so it's sort of like in line with this whole scene and everything. Mo Big says, pro tip, don't ship from Europe if most of your backers will be in the US. Yeah,
that's my problem. That's my problem.
That's it. Yeah. Well, there's thankfully there actually are guys. There are guys. There's a guy called Critical Blast. He will you can if you say you want to get them printed locally in the Netherlands, if that's cheaper, I don't know, whatever. And then you can I don't know. You can get them shipped out to him in bulk, or you can get them shipped. You can get them printed in the States, and he will handle fulfillment for you. So that does exist.
Yeah, that would be perfect for me.
Yeah, there you go. It's just these things are sort of they're only just now getting off the ground a lot of the time.
I think it's extremely important that this aspect needs to be worked out, because it's the thing. So we talk about like these cultural takeovers. That is because, let's say, more progressive, left-wing leaning people, they've got their fist right up the artosphere's bung, let's say. And the right wing has always been like, oh, let them deal with that nonsense, that fruity art. You know, that's what the right wing always has done. But the right needs to start investing in, you know, the arts. And when I say the arts, culture, yes. You know, they don't need to be investing in some kind of weird interpretive dance group, but culture, that's what they need to be.
We can leave that to the leftists. They can have that.
Yeah, they can.
And they can also have slam poetry. I don't know if you're a slam
poetry. Yeah, that's gay stuff. I think the entirety of dance is gay. I would even go as far as say photography is gay too.
Is it? I haven't been.
It's not creation. You're just capturing a thing. It's not. There's no act of creation involved, in my opinion.
Fired. All the photographers out there. I don't know. We're gonna get hate mail.
Aldous
says, excellent guest, great show, subbed and followed Sven. Fantastic.
Based.
Great to hear. Yeah, I've put the links to Butch Killigan, which is a comic you can read right now. All the chapters. You can follow Sven on Twitter. You can follow Sven on Instagram. He's got his YouTube channel. It sounds like you're on a bunch of other different BitChute at least. Are you on Rumble?
Yeah, I've started using Rumble now for my content section as well, because it's good for uploading your archives. Just started doing that, but I don't know. I haven't been convinced about like multi-streaming yet, because it kind of divides your audience, and I kind of try to get them to my website. I think that's sort of what I'm trying to do. So keep drilling in. SvenStoffels.com. We're trying to rebrand into SvenStreams.com. And we're sort of creating what we're creating now, me and my dev shout outs, a new website that sort of functions like Patreon. So it's going to be like this, but way better and more streamlined. And then people can actually get that from us. And there won't be any middlemen. You'll have your own subscription website with like streaming embeds, subscription, all that stuff for yourself. And you don't have to be on Gumroad and Patreon and all that crap, Minds, whatever the hell. Get off that. I believe fuck that. I believe in a decentralized internet. Everybody needs to run back to their own websites. That's what I think.
Yeah, we really were like so excited when the YouTube and even Facebook originally, maybe. I don't know. I wasn't that into Facebook ever. But these consolidation sites. It just seems so convenient and so useful. Oh, let's go it under Patreon. Everyone will pay us to create art, and then and then they what'd you say? They get their fist out and
their fist right up the rectum. But it is an interesting thing, and I wonder how Comicsgate deals with this, because I think it's very, very extremely important to gatekeep now. How do you gatekeep this sphere? How do you do that? Because that's the problem. That's what they should have done at all these game studios. There's this progressive cancer that gets hold. It spreads from the inside. People are too cucked and scared to talk. And now you're being taken over. Now you're done. And that's what's happened to entire industries are toppling by this progressive nonsense. And I just wonder how does Comicsgate bolster itself against this progressive?
I mean, I don't have the answer for it other than eternal vigilance. Every now and then there'll be reports of tone policing or whisper networking within Comicsgate. I try. Obviously, I don't want to be involved in any of that. I definitely don't take part in any of that as much as I can avoid it. But other than that, it's like one thing I try to do is semi-regularly just sort of reaffirm. Actually, that's what I did as part of today, like reaffirm.
I was going to say
what
the tenets,
the
basic core tenets of the Comicsgate scripture, and anybody who goes against it needs to be banished. That's what I say.
It's like because the whole reason why the sort of industry is in the state, one of the biggest reasons why the industry is in the state that it's in, is because people got lax and just were like, oh, what's the problem? What's the harm? Let's just let these people come in and change things. But I'm always like, well, Comicsgate rose up as an answer to that, hopefully as an alternative to it for based fans, people who can see through the nonsense. And then we have to constantly make sure that we assert like why we started, how we started, because I know eventually, especially if the kind of far left, SJW, whatever you want to call them, eventually if their influence starts to wane a little bit, people will get complacent. I know that they'll think, oh, look, there's no worry anymore. Let's just and then that's when the tone policing will really start to kick in. They're like, oh, did you hear the joke that guy said? Or this guy, I didn't think we should be hanging out with him because he said this. And then okay, now it's starting again.
So that's the thing.
I don't have the answer other than eternal vigilance.
I think so. The left, they played this long game very well. They took over all the institutions. And here's another interesting thing, right? So I heard you were on Ethan's stream before, right? And I heard him talk about how the comic book industry didn't really capitalize on the popularity of these classic Marvel characters being in the cinematic universe.
Can I just stop you there, Sven? Can I just stop you right there? Because obviously on Ethan's channel, I didn't want to like break in. Well, I've actually got a cartoon about that. Can I show you one of my cartoons? It's
perfect.
Only
I'll try and remember what I'm about to say.
A minute and a half long, and it's that exact topic. Listen to this. This is the first one I did, actually.
These are actors. These are people who could be doing something else, and they're on the big screen actually selling our characters. And we can't make it work because we're in the comic book industry going, well, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is pretty good as the Iron Man, but I think it'd be much better if we just killed him and just added a little teenage black girl with a bad attitude.
Yeah, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. It's creators that did not capitalize on the greatest advertising push for comics in the history of anything. You had the biggest 20 run of movies ever made. It's unprecedented. And what did you do? When everybody in the world knew who Tony Stark was, who Iron Man was, and they went into a comic store, who was it? It was Riri Williams. When everybody in the world knew who fucking Hawkeye was for the first time in 60 years, it was a household name. Let me go in it. Where's Hawkeye? That's her over there. It's Kate Bishop. You fucking creators that did not capitalize. Well, I want to see Thor. Where's his comics? Oh, no, it's her. It's that woman. that woman. No, you assholes. You artists, you creators at the fucking mainstream. You destroyed these shops. It was you. It's like there's nobody else to fucking point the finger at. You were given a legacy by your betters, by the Stanleys and Dickos and Kirby's, and your betters gave you a legacy, and the best you could come up with was Riri Williams and Kamala Khan. You fucking destroyed this shit.
All right, perfect. I see somebody in the chat, Mo Biggs, shout outs. He says, I thought Sven was intentionally setting Bancroft up to play this, but he seemed mildly irritated at the interruption. First of all, I wasn't irritated, and I also didn't know you had made this cartoon. But can I make my point about this? So this is interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so first of all, I think you need to have principles to gatekeep against this stuff, because if you don't have them, now you see, as far as I know, I'm not really that up to date, but this Marvel Cinematic Universe is being progressified. So now, and again, when I say the left plays the long game very well, it's that boiling pot with the frog. You have to boil the frog slowly. You can't just throw them in. So in 2028, you're going to have gay Spider, Black Spider-Man. You're going to have Riri Williams, the Black Iron Man. Gay Chinese Hulk, that you're gonna have that in the cinema. So then, does it make sense to sell the gay version of the comics? You have no more argument at that point, because now it is mirrored into the shops. So you got to have a proper principled philosophy against this arbitrary diversification and ideology pushing. Because now it would make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. They're not thinking in short term. They're thinking, well, in a decade's time, when this will all line up. You'll wait and see. We got Mobster Imaging says, "Hey Sven, since I joined your site, haven't been able to catch any lives. I wanted to say hi and thanks for the George Floyds. You make George Floyd cartoons? What's that about?"
George Floyd is our Lord and Savior. Please, no, I made a cartoon about George Floyd. You want to pull it up? It's on my YouTube channel in the shorts. Yeah, there it is. The third there.
All right, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have.
It's not bad. It's a very beautiful tribute.
The audio on here. Beautiful tribute. All right.
Play it until the end.
I just actually watched the Daily Wire documentary on this, so let's see how it lines up.
Play it until the end, though, the very, very end, with audio, please.
Is it got audio? Oh
no.
Sorry.
Oh, there. So, yep. We full screen this?
Never
I think you can full screen. Sorry.
Too much was on his
perfect.
mind. I never really knew him. And now it seems so sad.
Have to blur that out.
Everything he gave to us.
No, this is pro. Say his name.
I can't imagine.
Say his name.
I can't
look.
I can't imagine why you would ever get into any trouble.
Perfect.
On
Right?
YouTube.
That's a beautiful gift to the.
I just saw a tribute. I guess. I guess you're right.
Yeah,
I mean,
heartfelt and genuine.
Heartfelt and genuine. Sheila's like,
yes. What's the problem?
Liz misses him. Reagan enjoyed it as well.
Yes,
it's a bittersweet end. Says Robin Turner. It is indeed. Well, Sven, you are a beautiful tribute. Says Mobster. Dean is like, what the hell have I walked into? I don't know, Dean.
Go subscribe to Sven Stoffels on Twitter and everywhere. And Butch Gilligan, of course. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah, we got Sven. I've put the link to Sven's YouTube in the description there, as well as the Butch Gilligan
comic
website. Book, webcomic. You can go and read that right now, or you can watch it as a motion comic with actual actors, which is a rare thing out there.
Yeah, put a lot of effort, and I am editing all of this myself. Everything comes from my hand. You know what I'm saying? Excellent. So I hope people enjoy it. And then leave a comment on the website as well, people. If you go and read Butch Gilligan, leave a little comment there. That really is encouraging to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he's also got members over there on his website. If you want to sign up and become a member, it's $5 a month. That is available too. Sven, it has been a delight. You are a strange, kooky, but enjoyable fella to have a 1 hour conversation with. And to your question earlier, I would just say, don't be a stranger. Hang out in the chats. Say hello on Twitter. If you want to sort of ingratiate yourself a little bit more into the kind of CG world, just hang out. And we always like hanging out with funny, talented, interesting people. So I'm sure you'll fit in here just fine.
Perfect. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later, and I'm sure we'll stream again in the future as well.
Excellent.
Michael?
Excellent. Well, I will thank you, Sven. But the biggest thank you is always reserved to the most amazing, incredible, sexiest, and most phenomenal chat in all of CG. Oh, Sven's out of here. I will hang on a sec. I want to tell you who we've got tomorrow. We've got Mandy coming on tomorrow with Peter Gilmore. That will be at 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow before the CG talk show. Until then, I hope you have a great night. All right, guys. Bye.
Individually, we are weak, like a single twig, but as a bundle, we form a mighty